I'd like to welcome you guys to our marketing strategies class, though this can also include how to do some of the things through our platform. One thing I'll be covering today are some of the social media, or how to create various social media profiles, which platforms you might consider being on depending on who you're targeting, and kind of covering as much of the basics of each one as you guys need. If you have any particular platforms you want me to cover, I will go ahead and list them in the chat window, and I'll kind of let that decide which ones I'll gravitate to and spend more time on versus some of the others. We do have one question I want to get answered right off the bat, which is, does making a correction on a posted blog cause it to send out a new email notification to subscribers? The answer is it shouldn't, because it's going to still retain that original date. It's not a new post, it's just you're editing one that was already there. Now if you had taken it down and did a repost of it, say it's several years old, and you wanted to reuse that post and do kind of an updated version of it, again, then it's a new post, then it should send out to subscribers, but corrections should not. If for some reason it is, please get with our support team, and they can be reached at, let me give you the direct number, 866-300-1550, and then option 1 in the phone tree. That number gets you straight through to our dedicated on-demand support teams. Support's fully included in your contract, so please don't ever hesitate to give them a call with any questions you have. Okay, that said, any preferences as to which social media platform I tackle first? And I'll kind of be going through even starting from scratch. Let me ask this actually. Oh, you're welcome, Avery, or William. I'm not sure because I think you had the comma there. So, but anyway, how many of you are on social media? If so, list what platforms you're on. That way I can make sure that even while covering the basics, I can give some advanced tips as well. Okay, we've got some Facebook and Twitter. Anybody on anything else? Because those really are the two big ones right now, for the most part. Okay, so I will go ahead and get started with Facebook. The reason why I want to get started with Facebook is right now it is a good general platform for you to be on, because one, it's got the largest growing demographic of, I believe it's 35 and older that are joining it. People are still heavily using it. Granted, most of the ones that aren't using it as heavily tend to be the teenage crowd, which you guys probably aren't trying to get into houses. So Facebook's a great place to start. So let's go ahead and bring up Facebook. What you'll need to do is, they've actually, I believe, made it easy for you to create a page without actually having to create a profile, because before you had to create a profile to have a page. So if you want to just create a page, starting from facebook.com, click on create a page. Depending on where you want to do this, you could either, I believe local business or place is going to be your better option. So you just choose real estate. And then mortgage, I think that there might be financial. If you don't see something in here, real estate's kind of close enough for you guys. Anyway, we'll do, whoa. Okay, I stand corrected. You do have to create a profile, so let's back up. It's kind of funny that they tease you like that. So we'll do, you'll want to put in your actual name for the profile if you don't already have one. Oh, email. Email will work. Okay. Mistype that. Just for the sake of argument, I'll stick my birthday in there. There you go. And then it'll ask you to add your friends. If you're just doing this just so you can create a page, not necessarily to maintain a profile on Facebook, you should be able to just hit next to skip step. All right, so now we've got the, okay. You will get an email. I don't have my email actually hooked up on this computer, but you'll get an email. It'll have this big button in it that says confirm your account now. You just click on it, and then it'll jump you over to Facebook, and then give you kind of this information here. We're not really concerned with this. So at this point, we've created enough of a profile to where you can go in and create a page. So to do that, you're going to click on create a page, and it's going to take you here. Now once you get set up with a profile on Facebook, you want to have a business page. The reason why is on a Facebook profile, if somebody is wanting to interact with you and it's on the profile level, they'll send you a friend request and you have to accept it generally for them to be able to follow and see your updates. They can opt to follow you, which is kind of a one-way deal, but you're not going to show up in their feed as often. Plus, if you have a profile, chances are some of you already have one that's pretty established that maybe you use with your friends and family, that yes, they know you're a real estate agent or a mortgage professional, but you don't necessarily want to bombard that personal channel with your business information. This is where pages come in. So again, you kind of start the same process as before that we showed a second ago. Properties, and I will have this on our YouTube channel later, and we do have some kind of set out videos that individually show how to create I'll go over groups here in a second, but how to create a page and how to create a group and kind of the where or whys of why you might want to do one or both. So street address, keep hitting. And then you just fill that out. Oh, it pulls it in. Nope. Okay. And then, yeah, for the pages. Oh, something kind of going back to the profile thing is it is actually against Facebook's terms of use to use a profile for business purposes, which is why they want you to go this page route. One other advantage that the page route gives you is you get analytics based upon how people interact with your page. You can add in categories, description. I would probably go real estate's the default that's going to be there. I would probably do your city, or if you're doing a specific state, maybe Oklahoma, or list a county. If you hit, okay, usually it'll pull in some from the, okay, so it won't let you actually do the counties on that, but you can do, if you want to share like home decor type things, which would be a good idea if you're working on attracting sellers, because it's different ideas of how to stage your home. So that's something else, content that you can share that'll keep people engaged and interact with and want to interact with you. You can kind of keep going real estate agent and add however many that you want to. In a few sentences, it's going to ask you to tell what your page is about. I would recommend using something a little bit more jazzy than this, but you will be able to go in and edit this later as well. Just so that way. And then for this, we're going to grab our website here, because you always want to list your website. The purpose of being on social media is to drive people to your website where you can capture them as leads. Secondary purpose of being on social media is this is where people are going to want to maybe interact with you before they actually either go to their website or get to know you a little bit better before they become your client. People don't always fill out lead capture forms anymore. Sometimes they'll send you a message through your page on social media. So yes, it is a real business. And essentially this is just saying, are you the official page for this? So if you're creating, yeah. So, I mean, Metro Properties is not a real business, so I'm okay clicking this. You're going to want to click this since it's for your own business, and specifically your brand or branch. So you hit save info. And you can also, of course, skip all of these steps. You do want to upload your own picture. We have a video that introduces you to a program called Canva. I'm going to pull it up real quick just because it makes it very easy to create your a second, pull it up under mine. Actually, you know what? We're going to do that. Okay, so it's going to ask you to authorize this, and so once you've got your Facebook, you can do work. And this is just kind of letting you know different ways to do this. Okay. But what I actually want you to do is, if we go back to this main page, they have pre-done what the templates are for your sizes. So you can do the backgrounds for that as well. Your posts, it makes it very easy to kind of size some of that. We won't worry with that. I'm going to skip this. You add it to your favorites, which was that little area over there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because that's going to make it a lot easier for you guys to manage these pages. And then next. And then you get to choose kind of your preferred audience. So we can do Anybody in the state of Oklahoma for this, for example. Oklahoma City. Okay, it's not gonna let you do county, but you can you get the idea. You can put it in there. You can adjust the radius. So we'll do up to about 50 miles. So that'll definitely cover us. So default will work. Interests. The interest portion of it could come more into play is if you guys are working with a particular type of lifestyle. So maybe seeing, actually, let's go back. So you can do suggestions. We could do trying to think of a good thing. So golf. That would be a good one. So you could do golf as an interest if you're specializing in golf communities. So you can kind of start typing things and see if it comes up with something. If it doesn't, that's cool. Just kind of switch to something else. This is not going to pigeonhole you by any stretch of the imagination. It's just going to help target whenever things come up in your Facebook for suggested pages they might want to follow or something like that. You can, of course, leave that blank. It's up to you. You can add these in later. You can edit them if things change. None of this is set in stone. Don't sweat it if you're not sure. Languages, we're going to do English. Sure, why not? We'll do British English because I understand enough of that. Not that it's that hard, but we'll throw it in there. And we're going to save that. So now what it's going to do is it's going to bring me to this page. Give you kind of a little thing. So I've now liked it. So from here, what do you kind of want to do to maybe beef it up a little bit? I mentioned that in those sections where it was asking us about things before, under About and Page Info, you can get where you can edit your subcategories, edit the name that shows up right here. You can even edit your category. And then you can do, for example, we can do founded on, we'll make something up, founded in 2006. You can put in changes there. If you've got specific hours, you could do open for scheduled hours, add them. To 6 p.m. That's how long our tech. And then that will save. And then the long description is if you're giving more of a less, giving more than just one little paragraph. You don't have to fill that out. It could be a good idea because you can get some hits off of that based upon Facebook search because people will use their search engine. It is something that is indexed by Google, so it is worth considering putting something longer there that maybe touches on the communities that you serve, some of the various expertise that you have, whether that's working with first-time buyers, sellers, military relocation. See how specific you can get with some of it too. Don't just keep it generic. I work with buyers, I work with sellers, I work with everybody, because search engines want to point people towards that, towards those experts. And in real estate, you can actually kind of be an expert to a degree, or especially if you've got a team of people that are experts that that kind of go into those different areas. You're not, again, pigeonholing, you're just kind of aiming small at who you're targeting, but that means that you're going to be getting more quality of people that are engaging with you, filling out your leads, actually getting to the closing table, as opposed to, kind of throwing it out there and seeing what's going to stick with people. Let's see. Price range isn't there. Parking, that could be something definitely if you've got larger cities. Email address, let's go ahead and if you have like an info address or something generic like this is, and then for the official page, Metro Properties, or you hit Save Changes. You don't have to do that. This you don't necessarily need, but that's where you can come in to edit all of your page information. The next thing I would do, once you've kind of got this where you want it, or if you need to come back and do that, because I would definitely enter in the hours of operation, when you're founded. Those I think would be the two things. And then of course if you make sure your website's in there, which it should have pulled from that previous step if you completed it. Now the create page username, this is very important because you'll see that we've got this wonderfully strange web address here versus if we did Metro Properties, that's prettier. It's simpler, it's easier to remember. So you can click this to get a little bit more information. I'm trying to remember that unless they have changed things since I checked last, which has been maybe I think a year, you only really get to change your username once. Since they've instigated this new kind of tag system within the last couple of months, that may have been lifted. So if you are a real estate agent that is trying to use your broker's brand, for example, for your page, even though you're a single agent, maybe you're trying to do that, I would consider maybe going more with the personal brand. So for example, if I was setting up for me, if I was actually an agent, I would probably use Ashley Clayton, mainly because I do have that domain as well, though it's a very common name and very hard to actually do. So I might come up with a more creative business name for that brand and then kind of stick to that. That way, no matter which brokerage I'm under, I still have that personal level brand that I carry with me wherever I go. And so that way you can kind of get around the you may only get to name this once type of thing without having to rebuild a following on a page. But again, I think you can also contact Facebook and they may make exceptions. I just know one of the pages that I managed, we had looked at changing the name to something else and then had gotten kind of an alert that once we changed it, we wouldn't be able to change it again. So we just stuck with the name that we had. So we're going to create the username. Oh, I think they keep changing the rules on this. You have to have a certain number of likes, I believe, before you're going to be able, I think that's 25 maybe what that is. So whenever you create something like that, you may ask people in your office, people in your network to go like your page, because once it reaches that threshold, you'll be able to name it. Let me give you an example. Because if you go here, you'll see that I've got, this is one of the pages that I manage, that we have this very short name right here. That's what you're going to be winding up getting once you reach a certain number of likes. All right, so let me go back to this. All right, so we're going to pretend like I added a photo. We're going to pretend like I went over to Canva and created a Facebook cover. And again, that's something that we covered in a video. So you can kind of pick one of these, and then you can change out the icons, change the words there. I mean, it's very straightforward, very easy to edit, and then you just download what you've done. And again, whenever you create it, when you enter Canva for the first time, it's going to give you a walkthrough, but it's super, super easy to use. That's one of the reasons we recommend it. Okay, so we've covered how to create a page, how to get things started. One other thing I do want to touch on, for those of you that already have a page, have one established, these are more kind of down the road tips. You'll notice that they do have reviews as an option. So what I would do is, if you want to use this as part of a marketing campaign or send things to people asking for those testimonials, go ahead and go to your page, click on the reviews tab, and then grab this link, and then that's what you're going to link to whenever you send somebody to leave you a review, because it's very easy to, I could just click here and, well, if I wasn't signed into my own page, but I could go there and give a review. And it is something that does come into play when it comes to search rank and things like that. Let's see, anything else? Oh, the second thing that I would do once you have a good cover, have your photo here, is there's an add a button here, and this is really good because it's a call to action. So you could do contact us and then direct people to your website. You could also do book now, call now, send a message. Rest of these you probably wouldn't want to use. Contact us is a really good one, just because it does direct people to your site. So we'll create that. And it does give you the option to promote. To a degree, the pages are a little bit pay to play, but at the same time, like the page that you saw before, we've had like 2,000, right now I think we've got about, and this is over 5 years without a lot of us really trying, we've got about 600 and something followers on the page that I showed you before, and we've had posts that we've never paid to have anything promoted, but we've had posts that over 2,000 people have seen, just because it was something that was engaging or relevant, that got it in front of a lot of people. So that's one thing to kind of keep in mind when you're thinking about what to share on social media. With Facebook, you can of course do photos or videos. One thing that you can do is, if you've got the app on your phone, you can actually do a live broadcast from within it. I need to figure out a way I can show you, because it works best through the phone, but I don't have a screen share with my phone set up. I need to do that. I'll make sure that I get a video or something like that for you guys, so you can know how to live broadcast from your Facebook page. Why do you want to do that? One, it's a really good way to, anybody that's following your page gets notified when you're live, so you can say, hey, I'm going to host an Ask an Agent or Ask a Mortgage Professional session, and set it up, make sure you're sharing it so you have plenty of people that come. Excuse me a second. Sorry, had to sneeze. Allergy season, Oklahoma. It's a wonderful thing. But you promote it, set up for a certain time. You can even make an event about it. So if I go to more, Let's see. Here we go, upcoming events. So one option that you could do to kind of promote if you're wanting to do something like a live broadcast or even open houses, you can do ask an agent QA. It could be at a specific location. You could do live online, and then set it for a certain date, and then learning class, and then just give it a short description of ask me anything about being an agent, and then you can click on publish, and then what it will do is go out to your network, you set it up, and then at that scheduled date and time, people know to tune in to you that point, and you can engage people. It's going to help set you up as an expert, and it can be very easy, just like talking. You guys talk to people face to face, so just talk to the camera like you're talking to one person that is asking these questions, because that makes it a lot easier, and you're going to be answering a lot more naturally than you would if you're just kind of not necessarily engaging the same way. That also gives videos for people to watch and engage with for later. It gives you a video that you can then put and use in a blog post, which gives you something else to share to social media. So it's a good way to create a lot of content with very little effort. People like to engage with videos that are just kind of a little bit on the fly. That's why you have such popular platforms like Periscope. Facebook now has the live broadcast built in. Is they don't expect you to be perfect. There's just something that's very authentic and builds trust in interacting in this manner. That's one of the reasons why I use the webcam when I teach, is so that way you're not just listening to my voice or anything like that. You actually can kind of see and interact. Well, not really necessarily interact with me, but I talk with my hands, and so you can kind of see where some of this might be coming into play as well. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Some things that you do get with the with these pages, you get insights. This isn't going to have anything right now because we just created this page, but you can see how many how people over time have liked or left the page or things like that. You can see, you can get a lot of data from this information. So there's that. All right, so I've covered how to create a profile, how to create a Facebook page, and some of the advanced features within that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to what I mentioned, that we can set up a Facebook group, and kind of the difference between a group and a page. So let's just kind of go through this. Groups. So we're going to create a group, and we're going to call it, and you can manage multiple groups. This is a really good way to kind of build that referral community around, as well as keep you on top of people's minds. So you could do something like first-time buyers, in in Oklahoma City, or whatever town you're in, or anything like that. Because again, making it a little bit more specific, helps. Then you can add some people. I don't have anybody to add, but if you already have a profile and you've got some people that have friended you that you know have either been through the home buying process recently, I would probably add them to the group, as well as people that have contacted you about becoming one of those, or about buying their first home, or whatever category or central idea that you build the group around. I know some neighborhoods have neighborhood Facebook pages. One of our designers that some of you may have worked with, Andrew, they have a neighborhood page. And if your neighborhood doesn't already have one and you're a real estate agent, you might consider creating one around just your neighborhood, because then it's a good place for people to interact with, because they had because it's about building kind of that community feel, because people are going to go because they go to you as an agent or as a mortgage professional because they know you, or because they feel like they've gotten to know you a lot through your online presences, through your website, social media profiles, etc. So those are some avenues you guys can take with the groups and why you'd want to do that. One argument that gets made about pages versus groups a lot of the time is that pages are kind of what gets shared and how often it shows up in a newsfeed tend to get almost you have to pay to play a little bit in that regard, versus some people are moving things over to being more about the groups that they create, or the communities they foster. Hang on. There's a book that kind of really highlights, yeah, that's what that, Tribes by Seth Godin. That's what it is. That's what I'm looking for. That kind of highlights the same idea about building a community and then that kind of spiraling out to getting you those leads, because that's how you guys are networkers, and that's how you guys are going to build your business. And I'll just throw this in there as well. How to create a lead profile, add a lead ad page on your pipeline website. Are you talking about a lead capture form, Mary Ellen? Like, here, let me go. Let's go back here. We're going to switch gears just for a second.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah. Let me kind of finish up the thing with the groups real quick, and then we'll switch over to that. So yeah, just create the group, add it. There's 3 different levels. Secret means that you have to add them to the group for them to be able to see it. It does not show up if somebody does a search here. Closed group means that people have to request access to join it. Closed groups usually are going to be your default if you're wanting to kind of moderate people in the community at all. You can do that. And public is, of course, anybody can join or see, though you do still, as the creator, have the ability to moderate or kick people out of the group if you need to, or things like that. So you just click create. Oh, I gotta add at least one friend. It won't let me. But again, you see how easy they kind of walk you through and guide you through things. Same principle on that. So switching over to Mary Ellen's question, because it is a very important one. If the whole purpose of being on social media and driving some of the traffic to it is to capture those leads. If you don't have lead capture on your site, I don't know what to tell you. We have it kind of built in. So the different ways that we've got it, let me go. 9 steps to, there should be one on this. So the best way to do this is to have an embedded form on your site, just kind of under the content where it is, because people will read through and then naturally fill it out. I know that we can do better than this really long form that's right here, so I'm going to show you how to create a custom form, which is really what I do recommend if you are going to use embedded forms. We have some canned forms that will get you started on things, but I do suggest, as you kind of go, piece by piece, to replace them with target page-focused lead capture forms. Oh, like how to create Facebook ads? Okay. So let me go back. Okay, so let me make sure I'm understanding your question, Mary Ellen. You're wanting to know how to create a Facebook ad that leads to a specific page on your site, or how to create the page that you're going to direct an ad to? Here, Mary. Got it. Okay. So I know with the ads, it's just a matter of putting in which web address you want it. You've got a couple of different options for how you want to direct somebody to your site. Any of the content pages, you just need to go to the content page that has the form and you can set it up. You can set up a custom page that just has a form by itself. So let's kind of shift gears on that. And those of you that have Twitter, I promise I'll cover that in a different class. I could do it next week or kind of whenever. And we do have some videos on our YouTube channel right now that do cover Twitter. But if you have any specific questions, I can take those down and then make sure I get them covered next week too. All right, so embedded form. Everything's going to be in the back end in getting this set up. So it's going to be whatever your domain name is. After that first slash, it's going to say inbound, or you'll type in inbound marketing. It's going to ask you to log in. And then we're going to do capture. So Mary Ellen, what I would do if you're setting up like a landing page specifically, I would suggest setting up an eBook landing page, because then somebody can go directly to that. Let me go to this one. So I'm going to show you how to set one of these up, and then you would just take this web address and put it into your Facebook ad that you are creating. So that way they click on the ad, they get brought here. So if you're doing an ad that was targeting sellers or trying to get more listings, then this is the ebook that I do. So we're going to create the same one, but I'm actually going to do it in a way that I think is going to resonate a little bit better than marketing mistakes, because some people are, I kind of have a I don't know what they're talking about moment, and you definitely don't want that happening when you're trying to get somebody to fill something out. So let's create a better version of this page. From the dashboard, I went over to this capture tab, clicked on ebook landing page. It's going to bring this up. We're going to do 7 reasons your home isn't selling. I'm going to change this to home. Some reasons your home is still on the market. Because you can change this title and this subtitle, or you can go with what kind of the default is. You're going to want to make sure that you've got a group set up for the leads. You're not going to have this many because this is a test site. You can either have it go generically to Excite leads, or if you create a contact group specifically for this campaign, I take that back. You probably don't want to do that, because anybody that finds that page, whether they go to your website and then find it or go through this, since this is a seller, we actually can do better than Excite leads. So we'll do sellers. So it'll route to my group for sellers. You can change each of the bullet points that show up here. But what I'm going to do is, house not selling. Actually, capitalize that in so it's consistent, because that's something that somebody that's trying to list their house will get is, no, my house isn't selling. What can you tell me that my other agent hasn't? Or, what can you do to fix the problem? Or what can I learn from you to fix the problem? So that works a bit better. You can also edit the little bio here. If you've never done one of these before, this is going to be blank. You can set it on a per ebook basis. So for your seller one, you might want to craft a short bio that's a little bit more focusing on your experience selling homes and things like that, versus something that's generic like this. Though, you can also do a generic one and just use it across. Not really going to matter. We've got that. So now we're going to hit save and continue just to see if we, didn't think so. I already have a button that's using that. On there. So this is one that we've already created. So let me go back over to this, since we already have that. But you would just hit save and it would create it for you. Again, this is a sample site that we use for training all the time, so some of them have already been created. So what I'm going to do to enable that is look for it. So here's my house not selling. I'm going to check that box. If I want to edit that ebook landing page, again, it's going to bring you right here. So I'm going to do and what you can do about it today. Because again, it's playing a little bit of that psychology game of, I want something easy that I can do to fix this today, or if it's not as simple as I think it is, I'm going to contact an agent to just, you guys know how to do this, just sell my house. So we'll save that. So continue. There you go. And this is just the marketing system making itself known. All right, so close that. So now that I've got that turned on, which you check the box if you want it on there, or if you don't want it to show up in your navigation, because that's what these boxes do, if you want it to kind of be a hidden page that only people that are getting there through either your Facebook or through or through one of the buttons on your site. If you've got one of your site options set up like this, you can do that. I will get to, Sean, just a second, I'll get to your question because it does tie into this. But you enable that. I'm turning it on just because I want to. Hit save. Check that because I don't want that to show up anymore. And then hit next because it's going to ask you where you want to put it. And I'm just going to nest it. Come here and grab and nest it. And this works for anything that is nest those under there so we don't have a huge long thing. So there we go. And that works for any page that you want to navigate. So now that we've got it on the site, if I refresh, you'll also notice that, ta-da, suddenly we don't have as much navigation, but I go to house not selling, and now, you know, as a potential seller, I'm going to be wondering, you know, why is my house still on the market after all this time, and what can I do to fix it? So those two things really hit on both of those pain points. So part of it is create the page like this, but also think about how you can maybe word some of that to really dig in on what that customer is looking for, because that's what is going to cause somebody to come here, fill out this form. So that's how you can fill that out. If you are wanting to do your own custom page for a lead capture form, you can click on website lead form and then just go to the form manager, and you can create the form here. The one I'm actually going to use, since I've already got this, these are all custom forms. You can tell by the fact that you can edit and delete them. Our canned forms you're not able to edit, but I do strongly suggest going in and creating your own. Studies have actually shown that generic got a question forms tend not to be filled out, just a lot because they are so open-ended, but the more targeted you could make them, like for example this tired of inaccurate estimates, apparently I'm on a seller's agent kick today, this really does hit on, you know, that pain point of people that go to Zillow. It says, oh, well, my house is listed at this, but there's no accounting for what the actual market is, and there can be huge margins of error. You guys all know this, preaching to the choir. But many sellers don't when they're going in. So they're thinking that they're going to get their house listed based upon what that little inaccurate thing says, versus needing to actually talk to somebody that can do a comparable market analysis. And again, it's setting that expectation. So we could create this form, and then you're just asking for enough information, because you're going to have to know the address to be able to pull records and to actually give them that amount of money, or money, sorry, not money, but yeah, the value of their home, whatever you determine that to be. And then name and email are always going to be required, just because that's the shortest form you can have, is just name and email. And then, you know, I've got phone number. I did add this optional tag next to it just so that way they know that they can provide it, but they don't have to. People are really kind of leery about giving out their phone number. And then you could do, you know, address, city, state, zip. The reason I've got these required is, again, you kind of have to have that in order to give them the information. But if I didn't want it to have that, I could just simply check that or uncheck those, and that'd be fine. I know that we will be adding more kind of breakout individual videos that walk you through how to create a custom form, and the different options for lead capture that are on your site. Those should be going up, I want to say Thursdays, when I should have all of those done for you guys. So yeah, just definitely, let me give you guys a link to our YouTube, because I have covered it in some of our classes before, but what I'm trying to do is do shorter things than having you to have to listen to like an hour-long course just to kind of catch those bits and pieces. And I know marketing groups is something else that's on my list of videos to do. Lead capture was kind of the first. This is the playlist that you guys will probably be wanting to keep an eye on. Actually, I'm going to reorder this real quick. but that way you can see this one has all of the options and kind of outlines the videos that I'm working on doing. So we just covered how to do our canned embedded forms. I'll be doing one for custom forms, ebooks, all of the options that we've got there. All right. So on to Sean's question. Thank you for waiting patiently, Sean. The way you can manage the contact groups is you can go to, if you're in the dashboard, you can go to nurture and then manage leads. It's going to take you to contact management. If you're already in the back end, you just click on contacts like I did to get there. Tools, manage marketing groups. Now you won't be able to get rid of the system groups, but you can create your own groups. You'll notice that I've got some for, you can get very specific with empty nest and downsizing, because those, if you're a seller's agent, you'll kind of market to a little bit differently than maybe somebody that's doing relocation, because that's usually buying one, selling another, or depending on, hey, either way, it goes either way. And you can get even more specific with it like I did here. Military relocation is a huge thing in Oklahoma City, because we've got Tinker and I think one other air base that's out in Enid, which is not that far away. Plus then you've also got Fort Smith as well. So yeah, Fort Sill. Fort Smith's in Arkansas. I don't know what I'm thinking. But again, it's about how can you kind of narrow that field, because at the end of the day, it's not about competing with the agent down the street. It's about figuring out how to define your own game and then winning at that game instead of trying to play the game they're trying to play, because its uniqueness is going to make you guys stand out and make you be able to better serve the people that you either like working with, want to work with more, or that are a bigger return on investment for you guys. So that's how setting up these user groups can help. So where these kind of come into play in the system, you just create a new group and then hit save new group and it adds it here. Where these come into the system, and you can change the names too if you do that, is it's going to come into play when it comes time to do the marketing. So it's the email campaign manager. And then I don't have time to get too far into this, but I know that we do have some videos. And as always, our support team is more than happy to walk you through setting up your first campaign. But you can market to specific groups, and then anytime somebody gets added to that group, then they're going to start doing the campaign. So that's a good way to automate and save you guys time. So if somebody had gone to that ebook landing page, filled that out, then they get added to the sellers group, and if you've got a campaign set to run every certain amount of days, once somebody's added to the group, that automatically nurtures them, and then they can kind of contact you when you're ready and you're able to stay on top of their mind. Unfortunately, we have run out of time for today. Like I said, I'll have this video up on YouTube a little bit later, and then later this week, look out for on our channel. We're always adding more videos to it, and we're working on doing more of those kind of breakout videos that are I want to say one of them is about 5-10 minutes, but not really long, but still giving you enough information, not just that, okay, here's how to do this step 1, 2, 3, but kind of explaining some of the methodology behind it and giving you some ideas of how you could leverage it in your own business. If you guys have a great day, and if there were any questions you had that I didn't answer, please I would give our support team a call. They will be able to answer, I would say, most of them. If for some reason there's something that they don't know, we are all in this same building. They will make sure that we find an answer for you. All right, you guys have a great day, and I will see you next week. Thanks.